Hiya and welcome to another video by Roblox Academy, where we'll be looking at Wi-Fi IP cameras. And in this video we are dissecting a previous video where we were installing two of these dome cameras, and we're going to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of using this type of camera. Now, firstly, if you've seen one of our previous videos, what is the difference between analog or IP? That gives you a basic gist of analog and IP systems, which are the two standards. Wi-Fi cameras sit within IP CCTV, difference being, rather than powering the camera and connecting it onto a network through a Cat5 Ethernet connection, you are using a Wi-Fi network to establish that connection onto your network. One of the main advantages of this type of system is, quite simply, your installation time cuts down dramatically. So if you're new to CCTV and you're looking for a style of camera to fit for your home or your business, these Wi-Fi cameras are a great choice, because not only are they a great introduction to CCTV, but it allows really anyone to buy a camera on the internet, and these cameras are becoming way more accessible, way more affordable, and they are basically the future in many ways. I'm finding it's changing the installation game dramatically. It's allowing more and more people to secure their homes and business for a fraction of the cost it would have taken. And I'm also seeing more and more installers use these. So me myself, I've fit CCTV for the last 20 years, although I don't do it full time now because I work within art and architecture. I am still finding these cameras to be a great advantage for really any installation, domestic, commercial, even in hospitals. I've done very high risk installations with banks and hospitals in the past, and these cameras are becoming very useful for many reasons other than the Wi-Fi connection. Let's see what those reasons are. Second core advantage of these cameras is distributed storage. Now, what do we mean by distributed storage? Well, these IP cameras have SD card storage slots in there. And what that allows you to do is really record footage locally onto the camera, whereby you are not dependent on a central storage. Now, here's a little diagram just to give you a rough idea of the differences between those two. So what does central storage look like? Well, a central storage is a typical, either a DVR or a network video recorder, which has a hard drive built into it. Now, although there's no major problem with having this, it's always worth remembering hard drives have moving parts. Unless you're using an SSD, a solid state drive, they've got moving parts, or at some point that hard drive could go faulty. And if that hard drive goes faulty, that would mean all of your security, all of your CCTV has essentially been compromised, unless you've got backup facilities, backup procedures. So what distributed storage allows you to do is each camera acts as a recorder and a web server. So what that means is you can record locally onto an SD card and onto a cloud storage, and yet the beauty about these cameras is, because they're still IP cameras, you can still have them connected onto an IP network through a PoE switch and or a PoE port on your network video recorder, meaning you've got really three types of storage. You can have your SD card local storage, cloud storage, and then your network video recorder. But even without the network video recorder, the cameras actually increase your security. Why is that? Well, I'll give you a little case study. This is not that long ago, where the customer spent around £16,000 on an IP installation, and I was actually the supplier for the equipment, not the installer, but I supplied the equipment, and they had quite a serious robbery where they came in, the robbers, and they stole the network video recorder, and the customer was really left without any security. And all that £16,000 he had spent had basically vanished after them stealing that recorder. Now, if you imagine if they had the same sort of installation done with the Wi-Fi IP cameras, or even if they just had local storage, SD cards in all of their cameras, for any armed gang to come in and really take to deactivate that security, they would have had to disarm every single camera, which, I mean, they would have taken them too long. And that makes the distributed storage a way more secure style of security than a central storage. So have a think about this, whether it's for your home or a business. Think about having local storage on your cameras, because it means your cameras are ultra secure, and even if your Wi-Fi network goes down, guess what? The camera can still be recording onto an SD card or onto the cloud. All the camera requires is power, and these days you can even get Wi-Fi IP cameras that are battery powered from some famous manufacturers who I'm not going to name because I'm not sponsored by anyone, so I'm just sharing you authentic, genuine advice, and depending on your host country, you can have a look and see what's available to you. So other than Wi-Fi and distributed storage, let's look at some of the other features of these cameras. I'm going to give you a little diagram here I've got of a Wi-Fi camera. One of the advantages is that these cameras, because they've been designed for really the consumer, they come with, in many ways, more features than some traditional professional IP cameras come with. I believe this. Hey, if you're in the industry and if you're an installer, tell me otherwise, because I've been fitting them for 20 years, and what I'm finding is actually some of the cameras in the professional range, will lack some professional features. They won't have, let's say, microphones or two-way talkbacks, but the Wi-Fi cameras tend to have more features than some of the professional CCTV cameras. For example, two-way talkback, strobe siren, and these days with the advent of AI technology, they've got smart features like people counting and people detection and all sorts, customizable voice alerts, and that makes them a great choice with their smart features. So all in all, these are a great choice for CCTV. If you're new to CCTV and you're starting off, don't be put off that these cameras might appear cheaper. Go for a professional brand if you can. Go for something that's got good reputation and good reviews, and give them a go. See how they do for you. And if you're an installer, I would say don't ignore these. Installer being, if you're fitting these for a day-to-day basis, don't ignore what's available out there, because I myself was quite ignorant to Wi-Fi cameras. I come from a background where a wired connection is always better, but you got to remember that even if the Wi-Fi signal breaks on these cameras, you still have local storage. So the camera is actually very, very secure in a lot of instances. But I'm always happy to listen to other opinions. So if you do have more opinions on these cameras, drop me a message below. I'm always happy to read and change my opinions. But at the moment, I'm a big fan of these cameras, and I've done a few installations with a couple of companies where we fit smart Wi-Fi cameras in customers' homes. Let's finish off with some pros and cons looking at these Wi-Fi IP cameras. We've already spoken about the Wi-Fi halving the installation time, which is great for newbies and people who want to secure their home. We've talked about distributed storage, where the camera itself acts as a recording device, and it's important to remember that these Wi-Fi IP cameras can still be connected to a network video recorder, so you can still have central storage. Now, there is an advantage for having a network video recorder, partly due to the multiplexing feature, where when you have a lot of cameras, let's say you're running into 32, 64 or 128, you need some form of a multiplexer that isn't totally dependent on an app. The apps are generally designed for, I would say, cameras up to maybe 8 or 16, ideally even smaller than that. But if you're doing much larger installations, it's still useful having a network video recorder for that reason. And it provides a second layer of storage, so you can still have your local SD card storage and then a central storage in your network video recorder. And if you don't have Wi-Fi cameras but you're just using IP cameras, do consider fitting SD cards in your IP cameras, because it's a great way to increase your layer of security. Point number 3, they're a lot cheaper. These Wi-Fi cameras, they're a lot more available these days through retail stores and what have you. That means they have more accessible. So for those of you who are looking to secure your home on something cheap, and perhaps you can't afford for a professional company to come in and fit them, give them a go. Try one of these cameras, a Wi-Fi camera, and see how it goes. Number 4, we've spoken about this in the previous image. The smart features such as two-way audio, strobe light, people counting, and you're going to see a lot more smart features come into the industry with the advent of AI. So that's number 4. Number 5, better security due to the distributed storage. Number 6, which I haven't mentioned, is the cameras are a bit more future-proof. Why is that? Well, these cameras are built with certain standards. They use certain standards in regards to the encoders and the Wi-Fi connectivity. That means you can integrate them with your automation devices, integrate them into your home appliances and what have you. I know a lot of people are now using their smart devices all together. There are still some cons, sometimes with the Wi-Fi IP cameras, because they're targeted towards domestics and because also they're Wi-Fi, so they can only carry a certain resolution. You don't really get the full, I would say, ability that you might get on professional cameras. So you'll find with wired cameras, although they might lack some of the smart features in terms of actual recording and their encoders, they're geared up for more high risk environments. However, this is changing, and my personal opinion is resolution is not everything. If you have a look at one of our videos in regards to positioning CCTV cameras, you will learn how the lens and where you fit the camera is more important than the resolution, the megapixel. Prior to this advent of high definition, we were using 480 TV lines, 540 TV lines, and still we had great security. So that was down to the installer understanding that the lens, the angle at which it's being fit at, and how it's fit is equally important. I would say more important than the resolution. So although point number 1 is a con, it's not really a downside if you know how to fit CCTV cameras. Do check out our other videos because you'll learn a lot and you might save yourself some money. Whereby you're not spending so much on the resolution, you're just learning a little bit more and applying that to your installation, whether it's a house, commercial, or even a blue chip sort of high security, high risk environment. Second con, which I would say yes is the camera range. The actual the design of the cameras, you don't get as vast a range as you do in the professional range. So that I'm talking about the physical shape. The Vandal domes, I haven't seen so many Vandal IP dome cameras, mini Vandals, and there's all sorts I could talk about here. And really, if you're a manufacturer, I would say listen up, because there's a lot of installers who are now using these cameras. And I think if you're a manufacturer in the Wi-Fi IP domain, you could be appealing to a much wider audience, for example, by increasing some of the features that traditionally appear in professional cameras, putting them into these Wi-Fi cameras. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please drop a comment below, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to personally email me, my email address is roboxacademy@gmail.com. I'm always happy to give any advice and take on any questions, but do leave your comments below. And thank you for your time for watching this video. I'm always happy to learn like you are. So if you've seen something in this video you don't agree with, please drop a comment. I'm always looking to enhance my own knowledge. Like I said, I've been working on this for 20 years, although I'm not full-time in this industry anymore. Always good to share information back with the viewers. So thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you on another video. Take care and have a great day. Bye.